Hello. Oh, that lady always gets on my nerves, which you guys could never hear, but recording in progress. Hello, welcome back to the Times Podcast, episode 61 with Macauly today, talking about Spider-Man, but there's also some other stuff we need to talk about. Yes, I can't do that hand motion, so I'm happy you did it for me.
Oh,
So okay, I can't.
yeah.
Does he even do it? Does he do it every time? Does it-
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never
I don't think he
so,
needs to do that. I think that's just when he has like the mechanical
shooters.
shooters. When they come out directly from his skin, he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah. Macauly, how are you? Obviously, last time you were here, we spoke about if my timeline's correct, it would have been the Doctor Who movie, but that could be incorrect, and it could have been Batman. I don't know the order.
No, it was the Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Yes. How have you been since then? What have you been up to? Anything fun, exciting?
Well, no. So since then, lockdown's been partly being lifted. So just been getting back to normal routines, really.
It's bizarre,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is bizarre, and you don't realise how much effort you have to put in for work. I've had a year off, great, but got to actually work and do things now.
It's also strange how close we are to get into that point now. Of soon, it's gonna be pretty
But
normal,
the biggest thing that's happened since then is that we've actually met up in person
We have,
twice.
yeah, twice, yes, twice. And I forgot, I forgot the first time happened. I don't know how. It was, by the way, it wasn't that I just
all
forgot.
day.
I didn't just forgot Macauly was there. I forgot the day happened. So it wasn't like it wasn't like I was like Macauly up for the story. I forgot the whole day happened. I don't know what happened. It was a bad case of amnesia. But yeah, so we met up in person twice. First time for Phantom in April. Was it April? I don't know whether it was April or early May.
I
April,
think it
right?
was April because I got my picture of Katie Manning, which is quite
Yeah,
nice. First
so
time
did
I've met
I.
her in person. She was lovely.
She's very nice.
And then the second time was for the BFI, the first BFI back for Mindwalk.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't
exactly.
Mindwalk. Ignore that. It was Dragonfire. Yeah.
It was Dragonfire, yeah. Mind what was the last thing I went to. And obviously all
Yeah.
that has been Twitter has been ablaze yesterday with people thinking that Glitz had passed away. Turns out it was not the case.
It was just another person that worked in the BBC with the same name.
Same name, yeah. Obviously condolences go out to the family member, it's just of Tony Selby, the producer that died. But yeah, it's bizarre in a world of social media to get that mishap. And sort
It's
of everyone
easily
goes,
done
oh,
though.
it's easily done, especially when same name, same company.
It happened with when Robin Williams passed away. Everyone thought it was Robbie Williams, and he had to tweet out, "Be like, hi guys, it's not me. I'm alive. Hello."
It's the other guy.
Yeah.
The BFI was really good. Obviously, with the ongoing restrictions, we weren't able to get the full BFI experience again just yet. I've not gone into the really fancy top bar, which everyone says is like the best part, but I've not been able to do that yet. We were all kind of congregated. Yeah, no, it was a great time. We were all just congregated outside. And Bill Nye was there. Well, you saw it. I didn't, so maybe you should explain this because I didn't.
Yeah. So I got off of the train at Waterloo, and there was a film crew there. So I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I asked the crew, and they were filming a film. Can't remember what it's called now. Googled it, and it contained Bill Nighy and the woman from Sex Education, the blonde one. It's a bit crazy. What's her name?
Is her name Amy in the show? I don't.
I think so. Yeah. So they were there. And I came back about 20 minutes later to meet up with some other guys, and we saw Bill Nighy. Just like I was like 2 meters away from him. It was insane. In a normal ideal world, I would ask for a selfie, but I don't want to push it. And yeah, it was really fun to watch actually. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that film turns out.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna be quite funny when you look back and that film does come out and you watch it and you go, oh, that was the
That
film.
3 seconds of those characters walking out of the train station, I was stood
That
there for
was
half an hour.
that was what we were. That was yeah. And then apparently what's his face was also around. I missed him.
Michael Sheen.
Michael
Was it
Sheen.
Michael Sheen? Yeah,
Michael
Michael
Sheen.
Sheen walking around South Bank. A couple of guys that we were with bumped into him in Pret, I think.
In Pret a Month, really?
Yeah.
Imagine going to Pret, which I've never been to. I've never been to inside a Pret actually. There is one in my town, just never really gone. It's like sandwiches, isn't it?
It's like a Costa essentially. It's one sort of it's like sandwiches and coffee and things.
Nice. Yeah, imagine going into Pret and then there's Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
It's crazy times. Yeah. Apart from those things were going on, not much has happened. I this week I bought the Ratchet and Clank game for PS5, so I've been playing through that. Sort of fun. First game I think for me, I don't know about you, Macauly, but first game that's really made the PlayStation. It's the first game I'm excited for that's PlayStation 5 exclusive. It kind of feels like the generation's beginning to kick off now. We both own PS5s because we're lucky buggers. You got yours incredibly easy at the start. I was one of those
before
guys.
Everyone jumped on the train. Before everyone jumped on that hype train, I was already there.
What game are you looking forward to in the future coming out onto the console? And
it sounds really sad, but I'm really excited for the Lego Star Wars game.
Mate, I've got it on pre-order. Don't you worry.
So pre-ordered it, PS5 version, with the exclusive little Luke with blue milk minifigure on it. Release date, who knows? They've not said.
They've not said. I'm also excited for this Doctor Who game whenever it comes out. Meant to be spring 2021
as well. Yeah,
but it wasn't spring 2021, and we've heard fuck all about it.
Yeah, they're releasing it on Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, I believe, and Steam. It's from the same guys that do the Telltale games, I believe. I think they did the Peaky Blinders one, which had mixed reviews. But they also, I think they did the Game of Thrones one as well, I think, which was supposed to be good.
Well, let's hope this is better.
I mean, going on Doctor Who video game history,
can't be much worse.
The bar's not very high, to be fair. I mean, if it was a long jump, you'd be able to go over it, Alex. Let's say that.
Yeah. That's a very good analogy, actually. I'll give you that one.
There we go.
The
best game we've had Doctor Who wise.
Adventure games.
The adventure games are great. And they were free. In terms of paid ones that you had to pay money for, maybe the top trumps on the DS.
Or maybe if you count mobile games, the recent Weeping Angel game is pretty solid as well.
I've not played it yet. I pre-ordered it when it went up for sale. It automatically downloaded on my phone when it's released. I've still not played it.
Well, next time you're on the show, hopefully you would have played it, and hopefully
I'll make that my mission. I don't know what the next one that will be.
Probably Infinity War, because I'm bringing the team together. Everyone that's been on a Marvel review, one big podcast for Infinity War. Same thing for Endgame. I was going to do a joke in half, you guys, but I was like, no, I'm going to half. It'd be like a bingo. And then I'll just bring you back at the end, so it wouldn't work.
Because I did. I rewatched Ragnarok last night as well.
Ooh, so that's the next one. Beefs on that one, which is exciting. But it's crazy. It's crazy to have a Doctor Who console game as well. Also at E3, the Guardians of the Galaxy game got announced. That looks really good.
Yes.
I've pre-ordered that as well for October release.
I've also E3 stuff for Nintendo that's good as well.
Unfortunately, I didn't pay too much attention on that one because I don't own a Switch.
No, but they announced. They showed some footage for the new Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, which comes out next year. Also, they announced the Super Mario Party game, which is basically a
love Mario Party
master of Nintendo 64 version.
Nice.
Mario Kingdom Rabbids 2.
Yeah.
One that I've been waiting for ages, which they've finally done, is the WarioWare Smooth Moves game. My
No
favorite game.
way! It's a quality game. Quality.
My favorite game growing up on the Wii. It was insane.
Quality
And now they've
game.
announced it for Switch, and I'm so excited.
No, mate, that makes me want to get the Switch, but I don't. The thing with the Switch is I don't know how much I would use it. I would totally love one. I just like it'd be one of those consoles where I get like 1 or 2 games a year type thing, compared to like PlayStation.
Yeah.
It'd be like consistent stream of game because like Zelda does nothing for me. Although it's a great game, that's just great expensive lore. I just get confused by it. I mean, my friend was telling me about one of the games where like a moon's crashing down on the planet and you've got 3 days every time and if you die, if you don't take longer than 3 days, you get reset. I was like, what's going on? Apparently Zelda's age is always ambiguous, so it might not be the same. Oh, sorry, Link's age is ambiguous. It might be the same Link that you play. I'm like, what is this? It's too much for me. But I'm happy people can enjoy it and really dig into it. It's just I like a game where it's linear. I know what's going on. I know how this links to that and that sort of stuff. So Mario Kart's pretty fun.
Yeah, but they haven't released any Mario Kart for Switch. It's just Mario Kart 8, which was the Wii U version.
Yeah, and the Wii U was one of the worst consoles of all time.
Nintendo need to jump on DLCs for Mario Kart because they do it for Switch all the time. They got bloody Minecraft DLC for Smash Bros.
Really?
Yeah, so you can play Minecraft characters in Smash Bros. But Mario Kart, they don't want to add any extra drivers or maps. It's like,
yeah,
how much money they'd make. Like, I would definitely buy all of the DLC for Mario Kart. So probably one of the most popular games, but they just don't want to put any more money into it.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I'm like, and also I think for me, like Pokemon's actually a game I'd play. Pokemon, I'd do it.
Yeah, so Pokemon Snap was Pokemon Snap was recently released the last couple of weeks, which is the you walk around sort of safari park taking pictures of Pokemon in the wild in their natural habitat sort of thing. And it's all like obviously it's like a free roam game, but you get obviously points for every type of photo you take in different environments, different situations, doing things. Obviously some Pokemon are rarer. Pokemon do natural things like some. So you got to take them doing certain actions and things, and you get more points and unlock stuff. And then we've got the Don.
To me, it's just bizarre. To me, it's just bizarre. I just can't hack it. It's all a bit too mental for me. But again, I think the Switch is one of the things that now I'm sort of worried about buying it because Nintendo are going to announce the next console soon because the Switch has been on for a few years, so. I'm sort of just
but they've been rumored to put a new Switch for ages, but they haven't. So you either want it or you don't. So
I'm thinking of waiting off and seeing what new console they announce and hopping on that one, and then go from there.
I mean, I bought my Switch a year after they were released.
And thank Christ that hopefully there's not a PS6 for a good 6-7 years, because I don't have the money for that. Again, anything else in the gaming world I'm trying to think of? Not really. Again, I am still a bit worried about the Doctor Who game, having literally heard nothing about it for months.
Spring. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's already in development, so you obviously know why it's been delayed. So
yeah, we know it's been delayed.
But it will come eventually. They've announced it officially. So, yeah.
Yes. Have you obviously we got the box set coming this weekend. We'll be here today when this podcast is released, so hopefully you guys enjoying your box sets. Obviously I don't think we're watching Dragonfire anytime soon. Will you be rewatching it again no? I don't. I wonder why.
I'll be watching the Behind the Sofa on it, and that's about it. And then I'll dive into the special features for Dragonfire, and then carry on the rest of the season around it.
Dragonfire's the last one, isn't it? Yeah. So
I watch all of them up to Dragonfire. I won't watch Dragonfire. I'll just watch all of the bonus features because I only literally watched Dragonfire a couple of weeks ago at the BFI, so I don't watch it again.
Yep. And then obviously we've had two. Because my friend, I had this week with Macauly, I had a heated debate with my friend because my friend was like, why is Loki on Wednesdays now? It's a bit shit. Like they got something else coming out on Fridays. That was like, unfortunately, the second series of High School Musical, the musical, the series, is out in front of,
Yes.
which is awful, by the way. I hate it. This season's just. I enjoyed the first season. This season, it's not doing
I
it for
mean,
me.
I like the original songs in the second season as well. I'm
The
enjoying those.
songs and that are good, but the
The
story.
storyline's okay, but I just don't like the fact that they've gone away from High School Musical and they're doing Beauty and the Beast as their musical. It's a bit meh.
Yeah, I think it, it's strange marketing to call it High School Musical, the musical, the series.
No,
And then
it should
have,
be called Beauty and the Beast, the musical, the series.
yeah,
That's what it
they
should be
should
called. It's not,
they should switch it every time. But I don't think we're going to be getting a season 3 because I think Olivia Rodrigo is too famous now, and I don't think they want to. I don't think she want to
yeah,
do
I
it.
don't think she could probably put up with Joshua Bassett anymore.
Yeah, so I think this is it. So I really
Or
hope
she'll
they've
leave and they'll recast.
or either that or they'll get rid of one of them, and I think they're probably going to get rid of Olivia, aren't they? Out of the two.
Yeah, because
Only
she's hardly
because
in this season as well, to be fair.
yeah, I wonder
And if
why
she
though. Because
and
obviously
when she is
when
in
they
it, she's not really with the main cast. She's sort of like in a cafe or in a car or in another campus.
adjacent, yeah, adjacent. I don't know. I really enjoyed the first season because of that nostalgia hit, and then this season I'm not that nostalgic for Beauty and the Beast. I've
No.
watched it. I enjoy it, but I'm here because it's meant to be campy. It's kids reenacting High School Musical. And I'm to go. This was me after watching High School Musical. Now it's just like, oh, they're in a rivalry with a really high end school, both doing Beauty and the Beast. But that's what I thought the catalyst would have been, that they swap and they go back to High School Musical 2 type thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But no.
No, it's just not the same.
I haven't watched today's episode yet, so don't spoil anything for me for
I
that.
haven't watched it. I admit, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the last 2 episodes. I gave up. I gave
Yeah.
up after. I don't know what episode it was, but it could have been last episode when. So essentially, Ricky, who's the main character, he's having like problems with his mum and dad being split up, and then essentially the resolution to that plotline is Ricky's teacher's like, "Oh yeah, I won't date your dad anymore," and Ricky's like, "Thank you." So no, Ricky should learn that his dad's able to move on. That should be the lesson learned here, not Ricky's a prick. But I don't know. It's just everywhere they go down, everything seems obvious. Like this person's clearly going to backstab this person. It's just I feel like I don't know. It's bizarre this year. They're just taking a massive drop. Maybe it's because it's not about High School Musical. I don't care. But Loki, on the other hand, has been really good.
Yeah, it's basically Doctor Who in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think so far really strong. What do you think about episode 3? Because episode 3, either people seem to really like it or they weren't really keen on it. I was more on the positive side on this one. I
enjoyed it. It was fun. There was a lot of talking, but it was good. We found out a lot more about Loki as a character in that sense, because he's obviously talking to himself essentially.
Also, we think. I think there could be a twist. I think there could be a twist coming that maybe
we never know with Marvel.
You never know. Yeah. But I think it's really good so far. I think Owen Wilson's really surprised me. I've not seen him be serious. Obviously, he's funny, but he's not obviously doing his regular Owen Wilson stuff from like Cars or Night at the Museum. Like he's kind of doing some serious acting with some jokes on the side. And I think he's doing really well. I think episode 2 was my favorite, especially the scene on Pompeii with Loki going, "Run, my horned friends," and he's like, "You're all gonna die," and it's like that sort of stuff's brilliant. But I thought episode 2 was really good. I like the dynamic between Tom Hiddleston and Sophia Di Martino. I think it's a series that it's kind of like WandaVision. The more you learn, the more you're going to enjoy it. I think once we start to figure out who these timekeepers are, if the timekeepers really exist, we found out this week, spoilers, that obviously all the TVA agents are variants themselves, even if they don't know it, which is kind of interesting. So there's clearly something going on here. I like the fact that Tish from Doctor Who is in it. That just makes that's brilliant. But yeah, I think it's been one of those series that, again, it's going to link into the wider Marvel universe going forward. We just don't know how yet. I think when we look back on Loki in 2-3 years' time, when 12 new Disney Plus series have come out and 8 movies or whatever, however much Marvel want to make, because at this point they're announcing everything all the time and it's too much to keep up with. I think it's gonna be one of those shows that we look back on and go, "Oh, I get you." It's gonna be one of those things. I think
Yeah.
I was one of the skeptics with Loki as well, because I was like, you killed him off. You brought him back because it's Tom Hiddleston. I'm not sure I agree.
I mean, he's great. I love Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, no,
He works.
I'm with you on that. But I thought his death was so good that to detract from that, even as the same character, I think to detract from that and continue on his story is a bit.
I mean, it doesn't really take away from it. It's just another story. It's like the Black Widow film when that comes out in about a week or two, I think. That's supposed to be a good addition. It doesn't take away from her death. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but like that's I suppose. I don't know.
It's more of like a prequel. It's filling in little gaps because people love the character of Loki, but we don't really see too much about him. I think the most we've probably seen about Loki is probably in Ragnarok, which you'll probably speak about next time when you record it with Beef. About you see all of Loki's character development when he meets Hela. So because you don't really hear about much about him in the Avenger films or in the Thor films.
Exactly. Yeah, I think overall it's good. Like I said, if it was any other character, I think I would have been even more annoyed. But I think because it's Tom Hiddleston, it's Loki. He's got the charisma to pull it off. I just don't know how at the end of the series we're going to leave Loki as a character and where he'll be within the universe. But who knows? He could be sticking around. And also let's quickly brush up on the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings trailer, which I literally watched 5 minutes ago because I didn't realize it was out until I saw on Twitter people talking about it. Again, more of the same. It looks really cool. Looks like the action is taking the forefront here, with a really cool cameo that I didn't spot at the end.
Yeah, so we don't really know much. I'm not really massively knowledgeable about any of the Shang-Chi characters. So I just going off the basics that it looks really cool in the action-wise. But at the end, we see a cameo of the Abomination from the Incredible Hulk in the big cage fighting to what looks like possibly could be Wong. Not 100% sure, but at first glance, we've got a connection to the Incredible Hulk again. So
I'd love Wong to be in this film. Come on,
yeah,
Wong.
it'd be cool. It would be cool if there was some nice flashbacks to the Abomination, and they kind of like refit in sort of what's his name, the new Bruce Banner.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, that's the one. His name went completely from my brain. Yeah, so we get some more flashbacks like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
I think it's one of those things where I really hope at least you see Tim Roth as well, because obviously Tim Roth played Abomination. I really hope you don't just see Abomination. I hope he switches, which he can do, and I'm fairly sure that's what they're going to do eventually anyway.
Yeah.
I hope also it's not a 2-second cameo where you go, that's the Abomination. I think it should be a bigger thing. I think as well, because people are clamoring for some explanation as to why and how Incredible Hulk 2008 fits in with the current MCU with the actor change and stuff like that. So anything more we can get on that, I think would be great. And also we give more cadence to that film, which isn't that great in my opinion.
No, I think that's a shared opinion. So
there we go. But now all we have to talk about is our main topic for today. Spider-Man Homecoming came out in the summer of 2017. To I think thunderous appreciation from Marvel fans, unless you just hate all good things, because I remember people going, the big thing was Spider-Man in the MCU, now he's like Iron Man and all the rest of the quip it. I'm like, what do you want? But yeah, I think it's great. It's great to have him in the MCU. This is our first proper use of him outside of him being in Civil War. Obviously starring Tom Holland. Not as much Zendaya in this one. I'll say that off the bat. I forget how much he's not in this one at all. Obviously with Robert Downey Jr. and Michael Keaton as well. The plot of the film is off the back of Civil War. Peter Parker is struggling to balance superhero and regular life, and he wants to be a superhero all the time. And he's kind of ditching his responsibilities as a regular human being, and he thinks he's ready for all these big Avenger level threats. And actually, in his first proper attempt, when there are people robbing a bank with some interesting looking tech, it all goes wrong. On the other side of that, you've got Adrian Toomes, who was part of a cleanup process to kind of clean up all the Avengers mess after they've had a battle. He gets fired from his job, and because of Tony Stark creating this new initiative to like the cleanup crew, so he turns into a crook and uses all this technology that he finds to create weapons and tech and sell it on and make money. Yeah, that's kind of the basic plot. And then the Vulture and Peter will come to blows eventually, whilst Peter learns to handle his new responsibilities.
Yeah, and also the movement of the Avengers base.
Yes, to upstate New York, which is interesting because I thought that happened in Age of Ultron, but it's by the by.
I think they talk about it. That's about it.
That's yeah. That's. Well, I suppose I thought they were there right at the end.
They're not too far spread apart. To be fair, Ultron and
no, exactly.
Civil War. So
yes, but Macauly, what do you think? What do you make of Spider-Man: Homecoming?
I love it with all my heart, but I'm very biased because I love Spider-Man. I've always loved Spider-Man, so Spider-Man can never do me wrong. To the fact that I absolutely
amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh no, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucks.
Well, that's yeah, but it sort of does better with Andrew Garfield.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think this film's great. I think it's the most. I think it's the most up to this point in the MCU. It's the most chilled movie within Marvel Universe. I think the stakes here are very low, but they do a very good job of showing you how, in Peter's eyes, the stakes are very high, and they only really become quite high towards the end when Adrian's like, "I'm going to steal stuff from a plane," and that kind of stuff. But I think it's really good. I think it's so much out of the 80s and those films like Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club. It has that vibe to it. I think it's brilliant. Even so much, do you see a bit of Ferris Bueller in the film? I think Tom Holland here, possibly, again, I obviously I think he's much better now. I think he's very good in this film, obviously, but I think he's definitely learned more nuances to how he wants to play Peter.
That's his debut as Spider-Man, essentially.
Yeah,
because they filmed that before Civil War, I think.
I think it was a mix. I think it was a mix.
Well, they did at the same time, I think. Yeah.
I think they did maybe a few things on Homecoming, then he did Civil War, then back. But no, I think, he does a very good job. But I think, obviously, as a young actor, he's obviously learned how to do different things and stuff. But he's very good here. And I think he does the kind of very much like childlike, also very excitable Peter very well. I think the standout for me though is by far Michael Keaton in this film. I think Michael Keaton is brilliant in the scenes we get him in. I still think the twist, which we will go into when we talk about plot and stuff, but the twist at the end, or not at the very end, but in the beginning of the third act, it was literally one of the only Marvel twists that actually surprised me. Because when I first watched the film in the cinema, I did not see that coming. Did you? When we talk about it, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I think overall, this film just it's fun, and this is what me and Owen and John were talking about last week with the Time Meddler. It's very difficult to talk about a film or television show that's just fun.
Yeah, we found the same with the Lego Batman movie when we reviewed that. Like, it's just a fun film, and we loved every bit of it. You can criticize it, but at the end of the day, it's not spent to be like really serious.
I only really have one flaw within the movie. That
same. Yeah. I wonder if it's probably the same.
Oh, what is it?
Well, you carry on what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
So.
I was gonna say it's just fun. It's one of the things that you can put on a Sunday afternoon in the background, and you don't have to think too much about it, and you can just watch it and enjoy it. The action's there, the comedy's there. I think I kind of like the Iron Man characterization to Peter within this universe. I think it fits the universe in which he's in, and I kind of like it. I know some people are like, no, make it organic and show us Uncle Ben. But for me, I've seen that in 2 origin stories already. I don't see it again.
Same with Batman. How many times do you want to see Batman's parents get killed in an alleyway? It's like we know that story. Everyone and their aunt knows that story.
Yeah,
don't need it again.
I have to say as well, I do appreciate how little Robert Downey Jr. is actually in the film, because in my head, I remember him being in a lot more. Actually, he's only in about 3 or 4 scenes, 5 tops. He's not in it
Hmm.
very much. Actually, Happy takes more of a forefront, and I love Happy and Peter's back and
He's
forth. I think it's
great,
one of the funniest things.
especially the voicemails.
Yeah, I love it when Ned calls him. He's like, "Oh, piss off." It's great. But yeah, what's your negative point?
Well, maybe 2 negative points, but one of them I don't really care about. The main one is the timeline
The
at the start.
timeline, the timeline's all I don't care about. My least favorite thing is his relationship with Liz is possibly the only thing in this one I couldn't give 2 craps about.
Yeah, there wasn't really much development there at all, to be honest. Like,
We don't know anything about Liz apart from the fact Peter finds her cute,
yeah,
and it's like it's what that's literally my complaint. Whenever they kind of the film dedicates time, however much little time there is to that, you sort of don't really grasp why she would fancy Peter or Peter would fancy her. All we know is that in one scene, she thinks Peter is smart, and he thinks she's attractive. Therefore, relationship. So no,
well, that's what happens at school, though. Like, that's probably about it.
but they don't interact very much.
No, he interacts more with Zendaya's character. So
Yeah, because he's too
he's
scared
hardly
to
got
go
any
up
screen
and
time.
talk to her. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I find it incredibly. So yeah, I just find it very strange. I find that the only bit where like that was the only time I was checking my phone when watching the movie. If you get what I mean.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I just it's just one of those things where I don't really care about our character. So because
But
we don't
luckily,
learn
she
anything.
leaves at the end of it, so we don't have to worry about her character ever again.
Yeah, yeah. Because whenever you come back, Macauly, for Far From Home, however many months or so it is down the line, I think we're gonna have a much better thing to say about the relationship between Peter and MJ in that
Yes.
film,
Yeah.
which is by far better. I think as well. Yeah, I think the threats here are good. I think, like I said, I think Adrian's the standout as Vulture. I
It's
think Adrian
great.
and Vulture are
Great
great.
comedic balance as well between action.
Yeah,
It's a
I'd say
great
so. Like,
scene.
yeah. It's just there's
And
not
my
too much of
all-time
anything. It's
favorite memes
perfectly
from this film.
balanced. What meme is that?
It's the "Oh my God, Robert Downey Jr." meme from. It was like Tom Holland was in an interview explaining like his experience about going on there, and he met Robert Downey Jr. He's like, "Oh my God, it's Robert Downey Jr." And someone basically cut out that clip in his head and attached it to Tom Holland's body in the film for the moment when Tony comes out of the suit when he's confronting him to say he's actually there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on YouTube. You'll find it if you just search
Oh
"Oh my
my
God,
god,
it's
that's
Robert
Robert.
Downey Jr." You'll find it, and yeah, I can watch that on repeat.
Yeah, I think for me the best action sequence is definitely the end, but I think some standouts. The ferry scene's very good. This is where
Yeah,
you see Peter at his most stretched as Spider-Man, trying to go in too deep and trying to do things that he can't do yet within his power. And essentially, if you haven't seen the film, you're living under a rock. Brilliant film.
and why are you listening to
The
this podcast if you've not
yeah,
watched it?
why is the podcast? The Staten Island ferries in like 2 halves. The Spider-Man's in the window. You get this iconic shot of like all these webs around, and he's outstretched,
And then you think he's going to do it, and then he fucks it.
yeah, and then Karen, who for some reason wasn't in Far From Home, and that is a travesty. It says you were 98% accurate, Peter. He goes 98, and just see everything collapse, and then Iron Man saves the day, and you get this brilliant scene where early on in the film, Peter gets dumped in a lake, and Iron Man saves him, but Tony's not really there. It's just a suit, and you get the good line of, "If you actually cared about me, you'd be here." Tony steps out the suit, and you get the line of, "If you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it." And it's
that's probably one of the best lines.
Yeah,
it's the same that happens in Ragnarok with the hammer with Odin. It's like, the power wasn't in the hammer, the power was in him. The hammer there was just like the catalyst to control that power.
Like yeah, it's the lesson that Tony had to learn, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so it's that yeah, I think it's brilliantly mirrored. Again, I like the fact as well in this film you get Toombs, who is just a dad who sort of has a point of, Tony got rich and famous by selling weapons to dodgy people. Why can't he do the same? Why is he now being ridiculed for something that Tony, who's heralded as this great, billionaire genius, compared to Toombs? He's like, well, I need to protect my family, stuff like that. I think it's a really good balance. Yeah, because I in my head, Tony's was in the film a lot more than he is, which I'm not complaining about. I think he's in it as much as he needs to be. He's an overstayer's welcome, which I think is going to be
He's
interesting.
there for what he needs to be, which is that sort of like the father figure every so often that sort of pops in, like sort your shit out.
Exactly, and I think again, just it's one of those things that they could easily have marketed Robert Downey Jr. Well, they kind of did. You got a shot in the trailers that you never saw in the film with them like flying side by side through the sea. Which is sort of sad about. Well, that was like just.
I'm sure they use that on the poster as well.
Yeah, you just never get to see it in the film, but I think they're in it enough. Because I think if you had too much Iron Man, it would take away from Peter, and this is definitely Peter's film because it's his first film properly on his own, where you learn about him a lot. I think, again, the only thing I can say about this film in a negative light really is it's not as good as Far From Home. And I don't know why. I just prefer Far From Home a bit more. But I think I'm in the minority. I think it's because
Far From Home is already established. Obviously, Homecoming is still setting up all of the Spider-Man-esque universe. So, he's still learning about Peter. He's still growing. He's still coming to grips that, he's potentially going to be in the Avengers. As before, as we know, he just did little things like saving cats from trees, robbers of bikes and shit.
Yeah. Is this your bike? Please do not steal it if it is not yours. Fucking love that.
Yeah, thanks, Spider-Man. Sort of thing. Yeah, all the bit where the guy's trying to break into the car, but it's his car, and it's like, and then you get the Stan Lee cameo at that point.
Margaret, how are you? How's your
mother? How's your mother? Yeah. Who then turns out to be his bus driver in Infinity War.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Stop. You've never seen an alien spaceship before.
Yeah, that's the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the best bit with that sort of thing is Donald Glover scene, which sets up some really exciting stuff. If you
obviously if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, it sets up some. We won't spoil that here just in case they go down that road. I don't know whether they will.
No, I'm gonna talk about it now because it's a really exciting thing. So it sets up for a really amazing character who I absolutely love, and I'm hoping that we'll see in the MCU very soon. So the guy obviously mentions that he wants to help get those weapons off the street because they're very dangerous. He has a nephew that he loves in the city that he doesn't want to get harmed. In the credits, his character is then credited as Aaron. And as we know, Aaron is Uncle Aaron of Miles Morales. So it basically states that there is a Miles Morales in this universe waiting to come out and be the next Spider-Man. So I'm hoping that there'll be some sort of cameo at some point of Miles ready to make his debut in the MCU.
Yeah, I hope that's not for like another 10 years or so, though. I think the one thing for me that's exciting
we need Peter to be established first before we introduce Miles.
Yeah. And I think Tom Holland's one of those guys that will just continuously play Peter on and off for the rest of his life if he gets asked to. I think as for Tom, this is probably the peak role of his life anyway. I don't think he'll.
Yeah, he's going to do it as much as he can.
I think for him, the only way is down, which sort of sounds negative, but I don't think it is. When you get given the dream role from the off, and you can play that for as long as you want, I think he might not appear as frequent as he does at the minute, But I think he'll always be about popping up in a movie every once
But
every
he's
3 years
fortunate in
or
that
something.
he still looks about 15 at the age of 25.
Yeah.
So he can play young Peter for ages. And then when he gets a bit older, there's an older Peter that he can go into, which we haven't really seen in the film verse, is that Peter obviously gets older as an adult Spider-Man, which is really cool. The only time we've seen that is Spider-Verse with Peter B. Parker.
Peter B.
And it
Parker.
shows off the different generations of Spider-Man. So that's the way that he'd go for then. And then obviously go down that route with the young Miles, coaching him.
Yeah. I think that's exciting as well. I think Donald Glover's brilliant, and if we can get more Donald Glover in the MCU, I'm definitely not complaining. Because
Yeah, they could even just bring him back as Prowler again if they're going to go down that
let's
route.
do it. Let's do it. Just bring him back. Because Donald Glover's
There's
amazing.
so much
Musician,
potential.
actor. He's fantastic, and he loves Spider-Man. He's a massive geek as well. So yeah, he'll do it. So yeah, let's bring him back. What do you make of the action? So, what's your favorite set piece? What's your fit? Just say some of your favorite stuff about the film.
Some of my favourite bits about the film. I love all of the interaction between Peter and Karen.
Yeah,
when he's going through all the suit stuff. So especially the scene at the petrol station, where he's going through the different types of webs and things. And learn about that. And then later on, when he learns more, sort of gets more in deep, when he's locked in the lockup, he's going through all of the different things in the suits, talking about his life problems, and she's just giving him advice. I think that's great.
Yeah. I also love the fact as well that Karen is the person who played Karen is Paul Bettany's wife, who obviously played Jarvis. So the fact that they're married and he played Jarvis, she plays Karen. I'm just saying, bring back Karen. Where is Karen?
Yeah, we'll get that trending. Hashtag bring back Karen.
Yeah, Karen was brilliant. Again, you sort of after the fairy, obviously, fairy, you don't hear her again because obviously the suit gets taken away. So for the final battle, Karen's not there to guide Peter. Yeah, I think for me, my favorite thing is still the reveal in the latter half of the film where Peter's going to pick up Liz. So the door opens and Adrian's there, but he's not the Vulture. He's Liz's dad, and then you get the most awkward
car journey
of all time. And then when the Vulture clocks and you see the green light emanate over his face, sort of like the eyes of the Vulture suit, it's like ho 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 ho. And then you get the old bit in the car. Again, Adrian's not really a bad guy. She says to Peter, "Look, I don't mind you dating my daughter. Just don't get in my way, and you won't get hurt."
Exactly. Yeah. He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just someone that
needs to do what he's got to do. What he's got to do, and he won't let. Even if Peter's a kid, he won't stray away from harming him. And then obviously Peter learns that he knows that it's moving day and all the big Avengers tech will be on that aeroplane, essentially a lot of money that Adrian can make off that tech that needs to get shipped. And Peter has made a decision to stand up Liz at the dance.
And save
the world. Yeah. And you get this amazing scene where Peter thinks he's got well, first of all, Ned gets his moment in the sun when Peter gets attacked by the shocker outside the school, and Ned uses one of the web shooters and calls him back. And you also get a bit where it's the guy in the chair and he says he's watching porn, which never doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah, that's such a great scene. I love Ned. One of my favorite things, two things about Ned. So it's the Death Star bit with the Lego.
Make my Lego Death Star.
Yeah. And then obviously he drops it when he finally learns that Peter is Spider-Man. And then obviously all the constant questions in class the day after is quite funny as well. He's like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? I just love Ned. He's great. And I just want more Ned in my life.
Yeah. I think he's even better in the second film as well when he's like on and off dating Betty. It's like he's gone through this whole thing from being a boy to being a man by the end of the film. Like I said, we'll get to that when we get there. But I think again, the best bit of I think the best bit of Spider-Man characterization happens in this film though, after he's been hit by the rubble. And again, Adrian's not trying to kill him; he's just trying to incapacitate him so he can do what he needs to do. And he kind of puts Spider-Man underneath this rubble, which again sounds deadly, but I think Adrian kind of has a brief awareness of Spider-Man's ability, so I think he knows this probably ain't going to kill him. It's probably just going to hurt him quite a bit. And you get this moment where you see it from the comic book where he's in the puddle, half his face has got the Spider-Man mask, half his face got Peter mask. You get to come on, Spider-Man. He lifts up the rubble. He's finally, gone full circle. He now knows that to be able to be the best hero, you can't just be the hero. You have to have what's inside of you as well. It's brilliant, and you get one of the best fight scenes where, again, in the end, Peter's not trying to hurt Adrian; he's trying to save him because he realizes that Adrian's wings are going to overload, and Adrian doesn't listen. He blows up, and Peter still saves him from underneath the rubble and webs him up, and yeah, just a really, really good story, I think, throughout the film.
Which then obviously helps later on when he goes to jail, and the guys inside the jail are like, we heard that you know who the identity is, and he's like, if I knew, I'd have him killed by now, sort of thing. So Peter had his back, and he owed him one.
Well, like I said, I think it sticks to Adrian's character as well that Adrian doesn't want him dead. Like he knows that Adrian's a smart bloke who's just been wronged by the system and therefore believes that he has some right to.
And Peter's a kid; he's not a monster. He doesn't want to kill a child. Obviously, Peter is the same age as his daughter, so
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see how Adrian fits into Morbius as well when that comes out, because obviously he was in the trailer for that, which was really bizarre. Which I kind of forgot about until I watched this film. And I went, oh yeah, he was in that trailer, which kind of makes me want to go watch Morbius, even though I really don't want to watch Morbius.
But we need to watch Morbius.
It's also got Matt Smith in it.
I know. Hopefully he doesn't get cut. He seems to get cut from a lot of films.
Wasn't he in Star Wars 9?
He was cast in Star Wars, I think, as one of the big bads, but then they cut him out completely and replaced him with Palpatine. And then he's been cast in the new Game of Thrones, which looks great, for just a few pictures we've seen there. But the Game of Thrones prequel they started recording got axed, so this one's a reboot. So hopefully this one doesn't get axed either. And obviously he was in Terminator for a bit.
And that was shit. That's why you left Doctor Who. I guarantee you wish you did Doctor Who Series 8 now.
I think a lot of people wish that.
No offense to Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
Love you, Peter. Yeah. But, yeah, just but yeah, again, I hope he doesn't get axed from Morbius because I want to see him in more, because he's brilliant. I think he's brilliant. Obviously, he's been The Crown, but he's brilliant. I hope he's in more stuff. So I also, except for Peter Capaldi in Suicide Squad, come on, Peter.
Yeah, there wasn't enough Peter Capaldi in that trailer. We had to see him in 2 scenes, and he had a little bit of a line, I think.
Did you see the new one from the other a few days ago?
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. That trailer, you saw him in a group shot, and then you saw him doing a little bit of things.
I don't think he'll be in it very much. I think he might get one of the people that dies, but I'm not wishing that.
No.
But yeah, but again, I don't know what else there was really to say about this. I like the ending where they go to the Avengers facility, and Peter thinks it's another lesson, so he declines being a part of the Avengers. When in actual fact, you get the return of Pepper, and she's like, we've got all these reporters out here, what's happening? And it turns out that Tony and Pepper get engaged, which is really cool. You get another line of, I've been keeping this in my pocket since 2008, which again, really nice line. But yeah, again, it's just a very solid film. There's not much more else to say about it, because otherwise it would be harping on for complaining sake, and there's nothing to really complain about with this one.
No, there's one scene that we haven't really spoke about. Is a whole section. Is the section of where they go to the
monument.
The monument, yeah.
Yeah.
So this whole school trip, getting rid of the training program.
Academic decathlon. Which
That's
I don't know.
the one.
It kind of seems like University Challenge. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, for schools. They did it in High School Musical, obviously, in the first film.
Yes, it did.
Going back, yeah, I think it's just a generic American thing that they put in schools. and in any American school program, it's always there. But yeah, the monument scene is pretty cool with the drone.
Yeah, the drone, and then with the lift, and the people,
and the really
the
cool
people
actions.
in the helicopter with the guns.
Yeah, and then you get that really cool shot of him swinging around and then through the window, obviously saving Liz's life, and obviously the rest of them.
Yeah. I just love MJ before that scene where the teacher played by Martin Starr comes over and he's like, you enjoying this, Michelle? And she's like, oh yeah, I love looking at monuments built by slaves. And he's like, it's probably not. And then she shows them the book. It's like, oh yeah. Right.
Fair enough, yeah.
And then like in the interviews afterwards, like, thank God we didn't lose anybody. Thank God we didn't lose any lives on the field trip. Again. It's like, oh God. But yeah, again, a brilliant scene. Which again, it's kind of Peter's first heroic, big scale moment of the film, I suppose. And this one, it's on a lower scale, so he does manage it. Whereas the fairy sort of, he's bitten off too much more than he can chew, type thing. But again, I do like the fact as well, though, in this film, Peter's somewhat right. He's not always wrong. Like Tony should be concerned about these weapons that Peter's talking about, and they're just not listening to him. He's got a point. And they could have just easily gone down the route of Peter's overreacting, he's not thinking straight, and but actually, no, what he's saying is valid, and Tony should be listening. And when he does listen, it's too late. I think it's just brilliant. But yeah, like that seems great. And like you said, the whole flip with the helicopter, him using it and then booting the thing. I do like the line as well. Hey, big man, stop moving, because obviously Ned starts dancing because he's like, and then Karen, I think, trying to get Peter to the old school Spider-Man 1 kiss with Liz, and obviously then the lift drops.
And then it's like, yeah.
Yep.
One day we get the Spider-Man kiss.
But yeah, I think it's just a brilliant. I think it's just a brilliant film overall. Again, there's not much more really to say for me.
No.
I don't know about you.
I just like the mix of the good balance of comedy and action. I think it works really well. There's not too much of either, so it's quite an easy watch for anyone that's not necessarily like a massive Marvel action fan. So I think that was why Ragnarok was very sort of like well received, because there was a good balance of comedy and action in it, where it wasn't too serious.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think this era of Marvel
comes away from the direct action 24/7. It's when everyone started jumping on Marvel properly. It's because the films are more accessible to your general audience, because they were putting in bits of comedy, or it started with Guardians. Obviously, Guardians was a good example of that, and they've carried it on across Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange,
Infinity War,
Spider-Man, Thor, Endgame. Yeah. It's all there. I think they found the balance.
I think for phase 3 onwards is when it really kicked into another gear for me. But like every film is solid or really, really good. But yeah, I think overall there's nothing more for me to really say on this one. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, just because I do think the 2 Spider-Man films we got after this are slightly better, that being Far From Home and Spider-Verse. I think a slightly better out, but that's, when you get an 8.5, there's not much further you can go. But those are the 2 films that are like top tier films for me. What about yourself?
I probably agree with you on the rating there. It's not perfect, but it's not awful. It's really enjoyable. It's obviously one of my favorite Marvel films and heroes, and they've done him justice. Enough. Yes.
And I'm one of those people as well.
I love the design of the suit.
So do I.
Probably one of the best suits they've done for Spider-Man so far.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the only thing I'll say about Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the suit is really cool. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit is ugly as hell, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is really good.
And I'm not on the Maguire suits.
I hate Maguire. I don't like the Maguire films. I don't like the Maguire films. which could get me some hate. I have to do a podcast on. Maybe we should do a podcast on them eventually. Once we're done with the MCU, we can do the trilogy of Spider-Man films. As Spider-Man fans that don't like the gold standard original Spider-Man trilogy films.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate them, but they're just.
I don't
like,
hate them. They're just they do nothing for me.
No.
You know, the only thing I don't like about it is Tobey Maguire himself. I think he's not very good, but that's my opinion.
Good Spider-Man, not a great Peter Parker.
I'd agree.
Garfield, great Peter Parker, not a great Spider-Man. Tom Holland, great at both.
Yeah,
that's my 2 cents on that.
I'd agree. I would entirely agree. But before we go,
Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield's chemistry, amazing in those films.
Shame they broke up, innit?
Yeah.
But anything before we go, anything you want to promote or say, or anything,
Nothing really, to be honest. Just carry on listening to the podcast.
Oh, you've done my job for me. But you can follow Macauly.
The Timeless Pod.
Yeah. He's got it.
Okay. Oh on all social medias.
It is. I think you're right. Let's find out. Let's check Instagram. The Instagram's new, so the Timeless Pod. Yep, it is. I did it the same.
See, I know your podcast better than you do.
You do. It's fact.
This is now I'll take over, and Alex is the guest.
You are more of a social media guy than me, though. I'll say that much. You do. You are.
I live on social media. Yeah, I may not look like I'm active on Twitter, but I'm on Twitter like 24/7, reading.
Yep, reading. You can follow. Well, because I didn't know, you can follow me on Twitter at AlexKing_Dom. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Google, or YouTube if you want to look at our beautiful faces and whoever guests come on as well. The YouTube version's free, but unless you pay for YouTube Premium, you can't watch it, with your phone locked. So go on Spotify or something like that. It's much better if you're on the move. But until next time, guys, where I don't know what we're talking about next episode. I know 2 weeks' time is with Beef talking about Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, and Macauly, whether next time is Infinity War or me, you and Owen get together to talk about the Daleks film, which we need to do at some point. I know Owen is chomping at the bit for us to have you ever seen it?
Well, the second Dalek film?
Yeah.
No,
I haven't either. That's why he's chomping at the bit.
The last time when we reviewed the first one, that was the first time I'd ever watched that. So
me too. So we'll have to do the second Dalek film, the Peter Cush film in the near future. But
I had great fun watching that first film. I didn't amazingly love it, but it was great entertainment, and I hope the second one's the same. I
had a great time watching that film. I had a really bad time doing the podcast.
I thought the review was really good, although weren't you like?
I already did. That was the day where I did 2 podcasts back to back with no break. So I filmed one, and then I went straight into the Zoom with you guys, and I was just dead.
Yeah, but I still had fun with the podcast.
I had fun. You guys spoke a lot for me, so you did my job. So
I had like 2 or 3 pages of A4 notes on Doctor Who the movie. So
yes, I'll have to message Owen and see when he's down for doing it, and we'll get to that. But Macauly, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, and I can't wait for next time, whenever it may be. And for everyone listening, enjoy the summer, enjoy the football if you're into that, and if you're not into the football, enjoy whatever else you're doing. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.